Ladies and gentlemen, ATDF everything in that shelf presentation.
Oh wait, you didn't start recording, did you?
I didn't know.
You're now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yes,
All right, here we go.
we did it.
It's the last episode.
The last one.
It's Spoiled Rotten Game of Thrones edition with me, Daniel,
And Aiden.
and we're going to talk about the Iron Throne. I almost called it the Throne.
Yeah, dumb title. Well, I guess
But
it kind of makes
here's
sense.
the thing. I'm not telling you. I'm telling the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I got it right off mic, but I just want
You
you to
did.
know that I did guess it off mic. But at this point, this isn't a guess. I looked it up just to confirm I was right. The Iron Throne, last episode ever of Game of Thrones, but also they've got 2 sequels and a prequel coming. So
Yeah.
those,
How about
there'll
that?
be there will still be things.
We're still podcasting for that?
Yeah,
Or-
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm down.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they're saying it possibly could come out next year.
That would be great, I guess.
The prequel one.
Yeah, the long night thing, right? Or Blood
Is that
Moon.
what they're going to call it?
It's called Blood Moon.
The one with Naomi Watts.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's future us problem.
Who cares?
This is today. And
Give the
what are
people
we-
what they want.
Exactly. This
All
is
right.
exactly what's going to happen right now. All right. So we watched it and we had opinions. What were your opinions?
I thought it was pretty good.
Okay. Here's the thing.
What'd you think?
Right away, you were right about who would be king.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
I feel like people should acknowledge that was a well
I feel like
placed bet.
people are probably just mad at me for even saying that because a lot of people that
Because you're the writer.
well, the thing is, so many people are upset about it.
So here is. Do we want to build up to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a big thing.
Because I have not said my opinion yet, but
Yeah, what's your opinion?
I don't like it. But that doesn't mean that I don't like it because of reasons that other people say.
Okay, just
I-
like the same, like it's a finale and.
No, I meant the brand thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that I don't like. Everything I don't like about this episode has to do with Tyrion and Bran.
Okay, that's fair.
Everything else, and I'm saying that as someone who said I do not want Jon Snow to kill Daenerys.
I think
And
did I
I'm
also
saying-
say that? I might have, but
You
I
might have
really
agreed with
liked
me.
how it happened.
But this is what I'm saying. The
Yeah.
only stuff I actually had a problem with had to do with those 2 characters,
Okay.
and I'm saying that as someone who didn't want something to happen that did happen.
Right.
All right. So it starts, and I was like, "Is this a time jump?" Because I didn't think she was wearing the same thing. I know it starts
So
with
there could've been a
Tyrion
small
going
time
through the
jump.
thing, but I don't. That was just so that you could confirm that Jaime and Cersei were dead.
Yeah.
Which I feel like we had already done. That was a foregone conclusion.
yeah, they
Although I
wouldn't have
did
had it.
like that someone thought at some point, I guess it's a moot point at this point, but that someone had theorized that possibly he had shielded her from it, so only he died, and then maybe she would get out and do something crazy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess if that
I liked
did
that
happen,
hope,
Yeah.
but
Maybe she
I
just
mean, also
suffocated
I'd
or
already
whatever.
made peace with the fact that she was dead.
Yeah.
Well, both of them.
Yeah.
So that happens. He has an emotional moment, and I guess this will tie into my hope for the. I know that they're not doing these characters anymore, but my hope going forward for him. Even though I did say I had an issue, so that was the first one where I was like, I get it. They've always showed that he cares about his family. It makes sense that he's this upset, but also it didn't work for me. I was kind of just like, they're really shitty to you. I feel like
Well,
yes,
Jamie and him had
yes,
good
but I
thing,
feel
right?
like wasn't part of him letting Jamie go to like do the good thing, and then Jamie didn't do that good thing.
Yeah, I guess.
It
Well,
doesn't
someone
matter.
did. but
It doesn't
we don't
matter.
know,
The
yeah.
point is, it made sense. It didn't work for me, but I can't argue that it should have gone a different way. It
Yeah.
would make sense that he was upset about his family dying out.
Yeah, I guess that's fine with me too.
So yeah, they're dead for sure. Not coming back.
No. He also, it was sort of weird that he was able to find them, but I mean, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That's just storytelling and whatever.
Yeah.
He just lifted a couple rocks and like, oh, there they are.
He got through that tiny hole. I know he made his way, but it just seemed like it would have been more work than than what happened. The point is, I get it. That's an emotional beat for him.
Me
and
too.
I will tie this back into something later. But okay, so they're dead. Then I feel like, is that John seeing Grey Worm try to slit people's throats? Is that what's next? Remember the days when I took notes and I knew what happened next?
You had like a full page in front of you full of
now,
notes.
now I'm just like,
Whatever.
So yeah. Anyway,
I
that
think
happens at some point.
That happened pretty soon after.
It's just, I was kind of like, just kill him, Grey Worm. Like, fucking end this guy.
He's such a bozo.
What is
up
this?
until this, at this point still. I mean, he's always a bozo.
Yeah,
the whole show.
here's the thing. He knows nothing. We get it. We're like,
Yeah.
It was a bit too holier than thou. Like when he's like, "No, you can't kill them." What is the upside of keeping these people alive?
Yeah.
Anyone who would have been like, "Oh, but they spared those people," is already dead.
Yeah.
You might as well just kill them and like let these people have their fun.
That's a fair point. Yeah, and obviously Grey Worm is clearly not the man to be reasoned with at this point.
Yeah, I just
right?
felt what are you accomplishing here? Like,
Yeah.
there's like 8 people versus like the million people who died, presumably. Like a very large number, which Tyrion talks about later. Like,
Yeah.
more than even Tywin or Cersei killed, apparently, died there. So, like, who cares if those 10 people live or die? I know I keep raising the number. I'm just trying to make a point that it didn't matter.
No, yeah, I'm okay with that line of
Like,
thought. Yeah.
I just feel like, okay, like, you already know they're the bad guys. And I mean, I guess he didn't, but you should just know they're already the bad guys. Like,
Yeah.
just move on from that. Like, you're not, that
Focus
doesn't
on
help
the
anything.
like children and stuff.
Yeah.
Not them.
Yeah, they
They're
were actually
Lannisters.
trying to like do bad things at some point. I'm
Yeah.
assuming.
Probably. Yeah.
Anyway, so that happens, and then Daenerys comes down the thing, and that
Gives
the
a
amazing
speech.
shot of the wings looking like it's coming out of her back.
That was really cool.
That's a dope
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah, great shot.
And yes, they said. Well, she said that she studied Hitler, but they used like shots from Hitler, Mussolini, and Bush.
Oh, is that
W.
right?
Bush.
Really?
In terms of how the troops were formed and stuff like that.
Wow.
To really make it clear, no, she's not a good guy that just had a bad day. Like, she is the bad guy now.
Yeah.
Like, I do appreciate that attention to detail that they and it wasn't just, no, it's just the European bad guys. They're like, no, we think Bush is a bad guy, and we used him as an influence here.
Nice.
For her speech as well.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Makes sense that maybe she wouldn't use Bush because she probably wouldn't care or know as much about George W. Bush as a reference.
Emilia Clarke.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because she just studied. Well, she said she just studied Hitler.
Yeah, I
for
mean,
her
there's
speech.
not a. I mean,
Yeah.
Bush and Hitler are not equivalent, but
Right.
Yeah.
But
He's
that's
still
why I'm saying it
probably
makes
that
sense.
guy.
She
Yeah.
didn't. She
Just
probably
living
didn't.
the
But
worst
I
or
think
whatever.
I like the idea that in terms of visuals, they
Yeah.
were setting it up like that.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean, obviously the dragon wings makes it clear, but like,
Yeah.
But I do like that we're like, no, here's some real life examples as well.
And Jon and Tyrion look disgusted when they hear her talk like that. And then she says, from Winterfell to Dorne.
Yeah. And he was like, don't you fucking talk about Winterfell. And then she said Lannisport, and he was like, don't you talk about... No, that's mine! So yeah, she was basically like, thanks for killing everybody, and we will continue to do
Yeah,
that.
now we're going to take over the world.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, as I said, I didn't have a problem with what she did last time. I also knew that it meant she was the bad guy. I wasn't under any kind of delusion that she would get out of this, which is why I was saying hopefully only Arya kills her. But so she is confirmed bad guy, but somehow not confirmed to Jon Snow. Or is that so? Basically, what I'm saying is Tyrion is like "fuck you," and then he throws his hand
Right.
pin
That
away.
was a great moment, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Okay, take him away."
Yeah.
Which I thought he was just going to get killed right there, but no, because we were under the impression he would die.
I completely thought that, yeah.
So he gets taken to prison, and then Jon goes to visit him in prison, and they have like a half-hearted. I don't think Tyrion was being half-hearted, but Jon had like a half-hearted,
Yeah,
like,
he was being,
no,
like, wishy-washy.
she's good, and he's like, no,
Like, come
she's
on,
not.
man.
No,
Yeah.
she's horrible.
Yeah.
And he talks about how many people she's killed. I can't tell if he was saying I know he brought up everywhere that she was doing the killing, or like killing people, but like I can't tell if people are saying that like King's Landing alone was more than the two other people he mentioned, or if it was like an accumulation, like King's Landing, in addition to all those other places, is more than
Cersei
and Tywin.
It might be more. Yeah, I don't know.
Hopefully he was saying just that alone, because I think
because there's like
proves his
they
point
said
more.
before there's like 1 million people
Yes.
living there. So
Yeah. So he is basically like, nah, bro, you got to kill her. And he's like, nah.
yeah, being a little.
I mean,
baby
he's going to
again.
do it anyway. There's no way you see that scene and you're not like, maybe
yeah,
he
it's
won't.
a setup for it, clearly. What kind of convinced them? He was like, "What about your sisters or whatever?"
Is that what convinced him? I thought he was just like, do the math, you idiot. And then he was like, I guess she has just killed a bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I know he threw a bunch of stuff out there. Maybe
Yeah.
that's just what we're... And they didn't need to convince me. I already knew she was going to die. But
Oh,
I
for
guess
sure.
maybe
Yeah.
that's what would convince me. I was like, take a serious look at what she's done. And then, like, how can you justify, like, killing those other people that you wanted to kill if she has a higher body count than them? So... that happens.
Yeah, it was
I'm
all
sure
kind of
something
points,
more
like-
interesting happens, but these are my main takeaways. Is that he basically was like, I gotta go kill her.
Yeah, because he was like, "Yeah, think about the body count of the other people you want versus her, and then what about you? She might kill you because of your claim." And
Right.
then he's just like, "Whatever." And then he was just like,
Because that's
"What
how
about
I
your
reacted.
sisters?" Yeah,
I'd be like, yeah, I don't care if she killed. I don't think she would ever try to kill me, and also I don't care.
yeah. But then he was
That's
like,
what
"Sansa hates her. She'll never
Yeah.
kneel to her." So
So then he probably did it to save his sisters.
yeah, or maybe just combo of all of it. I guess.
Okay. I know I said I didn't really have a problem with it. I get that this was the inevitable thing. It did seem insulting that that's how he killed her, though, like by tricking her into a kiss. I feel like
I know. Yeah, he just
like it's just to like
people I watched with were upset that he even got past. Like, why weren't there troops in the room? And I kind of said to them, like, well
if
she
you got
probably wanted a
Drogon-
personal moment with the throne and like just to see it herself.
But also,
and
if you've got a
Drogon was there.
dragon outside, like you don't,
Yeah, you
like
don't need anything.
he was basically he was covering the entrance.
Yeah, yeah.
She didn't need anyone. That
I agree.
That I agreed with. And other people, not me, the new rock stars, I listened to their podcast. They pointed out that a lot of people complain, like, what was even the point of bringing Jon Snow back? But they were like, well, because he has Targaryen blood. Like, literally, no one else would have been able to get past Drogon. Like,
Yeah.
and just on a simple level, like Drogon was like, well, whatever, man, you're one of us, and let him in.
Yeah, I
And
get it.
so,
And that's
like,
why
that-
he didn't kill.
And
Jon
that's why
either,
you would
right?
need to bring him back. And what's it called, the Azor High or something?
Yeah, I guess that's a
Something
thing.
about that.
Yeah.
Again, if you want that description, I don't believe. Not that I don't believe. I don't have any investment in that. So you should listen to New Rockstars. Again, I'm talking to the audience. Just listen to that if you want to know what I'm talking about. It's on Westeros Weekly. They really break down how that prophecy or whatever that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Can only come to fruition if you bring back Jon Snow and all the different visual cues that are like a play on that prophecy, even if it didn't happen exactly the way the prophecy is said.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the message of the show too. It's like, oh, there's all these prophecies, like the Prince of Promised and like Azor Ahai and all whatever else there is.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is like, yeah, it might be they're vague prophecies. Like, it might be that it's him, it might be that it's Arya, it might be that it's Daenerys or whatever, a combination of all of them or two of them or whatever, right? Like, that's how
They
these
did
things
also
work,
have an
right?
argument for Arya and all the visual cues
Yeah.
that would make Arya one.
Yeah.
So that's nice that they, I guess, fulfilled that. While I was well aware that he was going to be the one to kill her, because there weren't, like, you would probably need a bit more setup for Arya to do it, I was just like, why did they make her look like such a punk at the end? Like,
Yeah, seriously.
like, it would be one, yeah, I don't know. I just was hoping, I think with Cersei and with Daenerys, I was like, I thought they would, like, go out on, like, a high, not...
Yeah, if there was some kind of showdown between the two of them, that would be
Ju-
awesome.
And I know
Right.
that it would be more verbal than anything else. Like it's not like
Yeah,
I
I've never
thought
seen
she was.
Cersei fight.
Yeah, I don't think they were gonna like be punching and kicking it. Just like some kind
Hair
of verbal
pulling
thing.
and stuff,
Like
yeah.
if her story like worked on John a bit more, like the whole like I couldn't even count to 20, and I heard this was like made of 1,000 swords. Like that just seemed like noise to him. I don't think he cared.
He didn't care about
or,
any of
like,
that.
Like,
But she was being so like the acting was great. Like she was
Yeah,
so
she
passionate
was-
about it, but just
but
just so
it
delusional.
just seemed like I didn't like that they made her look delusional instead of like because I know at one point she was like, oh, I guess it again. I always knew she was gonna. I wasn't like, oh, this could turn around for her, but I was like a little bit more of her being like, well, you don't know what I'm doing because you've never seen it before. Like more stuff like that makes it seem like she's actually thinking about what's happening now and less like when I was a kid. I was like, well, okay.
I think she had to show regret for killing innocent people, and she just didn't do it. And then she was trying to be like, but you and I are born for like she didn't. He was like, you killed innocent people, and then she was just like, yeah, but you and I were born for this, and like that means nothing to him. He's never really
he
felt
doesn't
like a
care about any
Targaryen
of
or
this.
anything, you know. So
Yeah. So yeah, then he kills her. You think, okay, finally they're gonna kill Jon Snow because he's a bitch, but nah, Drogon's just like, nah, I'll just melt the throne.
yeah, which was a really cool like the
It made me
emotion
be
that
like,
Drogon
how
had.
smart is this dragon?
Yeah,
Because what a metaphor. He's like, I will. I mean, it's not really a metaphor, but it seems like he has a grasp of metaphors of being like,
that he
it
actually,
wasn't you, Jon Snow, who killed my mother. It was this throne and her addiction to this throne.
Yeah.
A pox on this throne.
and he is the one that actually burned all those people too. And then all of a sudden, I get it, it's his mom or whatever, but
Yeah, I
And
thought he
he's-
was just
he
going
knows
to
what the
keep burning
throne
people,
means.
but he was just, that's
Yeah.
the thing. I was like, you know what this throne means? Like, good for you, man.
yeah,
And then he goes, he flies off with her. And people, again, the new rock stars have been talking about how that plays back into the vision she had in season 2, where I think the idea was that she was going to see Khal Drogo again and her kid.
oh right. So I guess maybe
So that's her kid, and I guess now that she's dead, she'll see Khal Drogo.
right.
So
Yeah,
that's nice
because-
that
so
they-
she sees the throne.
they
the
paid
same
that
way in
off.
the vision, and
Yeah.
then that. Yeah.
In the vision, she takes her hand away, but here she actually touches it. But yeah.
Oh.
So she, I guess, I don't know what that distinction is, other than it's just a distinction. But again, something they paid off, because I feel like a lot of the backlash against this episode is that they didn't pay anything off. So I'm trying my best to like find instances where they did pay things off, and maybe people just were mad about other things that didn't pay off.
I think people are just mad about a few specific things, like Bran being the king, Daenerys' evil turn. Those are like the main things, and then like the Night King not really being explained and just being like the way that happened.
I'm fine with the Night King. I get that a lot of
I'm
people
okay
were.
with it too.
I understand that the idea is that the Night King isn't the issue. It's all these people,
Yeah, the
and that's why you
politics
would
and the-
leave the last couple of episodes to be about these people and their politics.
Yeah. As a side note, this prequel show, is it just going to be like a zombie show, or is it going to be kind of like...
Isn't it going to be what leads to the zombies?
Right, I hope so, yeah. Because
I hope it's not the whole zombie thing. I want it to be like some kind of tragic thing of like, oh, like maybe they won't turn, but you know they will. But like, oh, maybe they won't turn.
Yeah.
And then they turn.
Because the thing is, like, I've seen The Walking Dead. I
Yeah.
don't really like it that much, you know?
Boom, boom, boom. That's why we don't do that podcast.
Exactly, yeah. So,
Yeah, I'm not.
It
I'm not
does.
into that being a zombie show. I'm hoping it's just as rich as this show.
Yeah.
as Game of Thrones. So then
so
she
you
goes.
were... Oh, just go back to it. What did you think about the dragon showing the emotion? Like, just like the way it screamed
It was
out
interesting.
and- yeah, I thought that was
I
cool.
really thought that he was going to kill Jon, and then when he did, when he didn't, I was like, well, I mean, if he's not going to kill him, this is pretty interesting too, to show that kind of understanding of
Yeah.
like, I got to get rid of this thing.
He gave John a look too and got ready and then was just like, respect.
Yeah,
And then-
thanks. She was the only reason I was here. I don't like it here. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there we go. I keep saying Drogon. Is that the dragon's name or not?
Yep, that's it.
All
Drogon.
right.
Yeah.
Our good friend Michelle
think-
might have an issue with how I'm pronouncing it. I don't know.
I feel like no, I think you're on it. I think she named Drogon because of Drogo.
Yes.
And then Rhaegal for the bro, and vice.
No, the
was
V
that?
one is her brother. Rhaegal wanted to be her dad, wasn't it? Wait,
I
no, her
think
brother.
the V
her
one
brother.
is
her older
the
brother.
bad
though.
brother.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Rhaegal is for Rhaegar.
Yeah, the Mad King.
No, that's her other brother that died. John's father.
Which one are we talking about? Wait, who's her?
You know the red. I guess it's the red or the green dragon, and I guess that doesn't really
I'm
matter.
gonna be honest with you. I had no idea which dragon was which. The fact that she was left with Drogon, I was like, easiest one to remember.
Yeah, so one.
One's an R though, right?
Yeah, that's named after her brother.
Right.
Like John's father.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm glad we got on the same page. Is one named after the bad brother?
Yeah.
There's
other
a
one.
V one.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
V and then an R.
Because the V one for sure is the Golden Crown brother. R
Yeah.
is John's dad.
Yes.
I keep forgetting that old man isn't her dad. It's her brother.
Which old man?
The fucking Mad King.
No. The Mad King is her dad.
No, it does. Oh, then who? Okay, I get it now. I get it. What's going on here? Excuse me. Sorry. I get it. The Mad King is her dad, but John's dad is her brother.
Yes.
And that's the one the dragon's named for.
Yeah, because
Yes.
John's dad was the heir because he's the oldest brother and the whatever, which makes John the heir.
I get him now.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a time jump, right?
Yeah,
It's like
after the
he
death?
flies off, it cuts to or fades to black, and then it comes back and they're in jail.
It would have to be like, yeah, at least 2 weeks later or so, because the whole council's there now.
It's already at the council. We're already there.
Yeah, what happened after that?
I don't remember. I'm assuming it's the council. It's
I
gotta
think
be
it was
right.
the council. Yeah.
Holy. Okay, so council. Some good comedy. There was a plastic water bottle.
Was there?
Oh yeah.
Oh
At
man, I
Sam's
gotta
foot.
look that up.
Yeah,
Okay.
at Sam's foot there was a plastic water.
Think they did that on purpose, or-
Like a straight up Evian thing.
Really?
Yeah. Here's the thing. Yes, people were upset with this season, but I don't think those mistakes are indicative of like the quality of it.
Oh,
There's
it's
plenty
huge
of
quality.
times where like movies that people like have silly mistakes in them.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
It's fine. And I did hear someone else talk about Jamie's hand being natural
Oh,
and
so
not
that was
golden.
a thing. Okay.
Or they saw the same picture I did. It was on
Right.
the podcast The Read, which you wouldn't think would talk about Game of Thrones, but they love it.
Lots of things do, yeah.
So
But
they
you
had
wouldn't
like
think of-
on their last episode, they just did a full on rundown at the end of the episode, and the host Crystal brought up that she saw that his hand was thing. I don't know if she saw it in the show or if she saw the picture that I saw, but I just wanted to circle back to that and say that I'm not crazy. Someone else saw it.
Right.
Now, council.
Council
Bunch
time.
of stuff happens here. Sam floats the idea of like maybe everyone should have a say
Oh,
in
that
who's
was
the
so
king, and
good.
they're like, "Fuck off."
One wanted to just give my dog a vote or something, and then
That's
someone else is
crazy.
like, yeah, let the horses vote too.
Imagine if Drogon could vote.
Oh man, who knows what
He's
he would do.
smart.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he'd
obviously
be
very
like,
smart.
no. It's weird that they brought that up just to laugh it away, but I guess
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Well, it's like the 1300s. It's not now, I guess. So
Well, I don't know. It could be the future. It's not even on Earth.
that's right. Yeah.
It's just a bunch of things that are happening. Anyway, it was weird, but basically, every kingdom is represented in this council.
Yeah.
Wait, does Gendry have like a new kingdom, or just
No,
he's
he-
representing a kingdom that was previously represented by someone else?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
got the Stormlands, and that's where the Baratheons.
Because it seemed like there was more than 7 kingdoms being represented, but I also am not good with math.
I think
and
they
I don't
were in
remember.
groups of 3 or something.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So
All right. So not like because there was some times where I'm like, oh, obviously Arya and Sansa are representing one place.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how many times that was happening, and my assumption was Robin Aaron was with someone
With that guy,
Yeah.
yeah. Because even when Rob and Aaron voted, he like it was pretty funny because like he's obviously doesn't know what he's doing, so
Yeah.
he
So
kind of
just
gave the
looked.
guy a look and then voted.
So they're all there.
Mm-hmm.
They need to know what's going to happen, and for some reason they're like, "Why don't we listen to this prisoner?"
Yeah. Well, they all
And
respect him. It's just Grey Worm that doesn't like him.
More people shouldn't like him. But, okay, so
Yeah.
he gives this speech.
Yeah. What did anything else happen before that?
I don't know.
Did they? Like,
I
did
can
someone
only
float,
fixate on this.
Did someone float an idea before the democracy idea? No, I don't think so.
I don't
right?
think so.
Yeah.
I think they were just like, we need to find a new king. And
Right.
then he was like, well, maybe everyone should vote. And they're like, fuck off. And then they're like, okay, so it's just us then.
Yeah.
So he gives this big speech and comes up with Bran. I'm happy some people had, I'm assuming it was Sansa, was kind of like, no. And then they're like,
Yeah.
no, this is good. So here's my issue.
Sansa said he can't have children.
Yes. And then they're like, exactly, you played right into our trap, you idiot. That's
Yeah.
exactly why.
Yeah.
Fine, if that's your thing. But also, if you already are in the like habit of just making up rules right now, just be like, it can't be your kid. We're always going to vote on this. You
Yeah,
don't
they
have
could've
to be
just
like,
done
oh,
that.
he can't have kids, so this will never be an issue. It's like, just make that the rule, that it's never going to be your thing. You would have to like be picked by this council at 10.
Yeah.
That for me right away rules right now. But my thing is twofold here. My issue, and it is a bit of there's a social aspect to it. I understand that there was an element of that line about I've always loved crippled things
Right,
and bastards,
and broken
and then
things.
and then look who's in charge. My problem is
And
if that's what,
Tyrion's essentially in charge as
yes.
well.
So my problem is if that's what the show wanted, and I do know that they did change, not mid-season obviously, but I do know they changed at a certain point what they wanted to do at the end.
Oh,
because
really?
they said too many people had guessed the ending. So they did do a course correct.
Oh, I assumed that whatever happened in the last season, like the
I'm
big
not
things.
so what I'm saying is maybe they changed like near the end of season 7 what they wanted to do. I'm not saying they went into it and then changed. I'm saying whatever was being built to was changed. And I think that explains kind of like the longer wait in between seasons. I think they needed to. So I'm not saying this wasn't well thought out. I just think we talked about last episode, they didn't give themselves enough time, because if this is where they wanted to land, which again, it's stuff that's being paid off from seasons ago about that.
Sure, yeah.
My problem is I can't get behind let's give it to the white guys who don't even really want it. Like they just kind of were there and were like, yeah, like this is a good idea.
Well, Bran sort of admitted that he did want it. He's like, "Why would
at
you
the
think I
end,
came all
yes,
this way?"
but
Yeah.
but my problem is this whole season nothing can be confirmed that he did anything to help, and all they've
And
ever tried
he
to
knew
do
everything that was going to happen too.
Yeah, so like everything shows that like. Yeah, and if he does know everything that's going to happen, or did know everything that's happened, that kind of shows him to be selfish, because he's like, well, I'll just wait it out until they realize I'm going to be the king, instead of doing something. So my problem is the show, for me at least, did a good job of showing me that he is less human than he was before, and he's trying to be beyond that. And I think it's a weird thing to be like, he should be in charge,
he's the king.
because like he doesn't care and he's not that committed to it, right? Like, what is the last thing? Oh, I'll go look for the dragon while you guys actually do all the stuff.
He
it's
clearly
like
doesn't care about.
Yeah,
the
so like
inner workings.
I just feel like that's weird. If that's who you want to be the king, why not do a better job of showing me that like
they should have
he
done
cares
that, clearly.
that like
he should have talked more this season.
Yeah, and as the actor said, he thought it was a joke when they told him you're the king. He was like,
makes
oh.
sense.
What? No, like you're joking, obviously, because apparently they did do that. They gave out joke scripts a lot of times.
Oh yeah,
but so that's my thing, is like that is weird. And then the idea is that Tyrion will be the hand until he dies. But like what? Like they spent like basically 3 seasons showing me that he's shit at it.
Yeah,
he's not good at it. And then so this is where I would tie in his dead siblings. Maybe my hope can be that now that they're dead, he won't have that kind of weird allegiance. Like so he's not half-heartedly doing anything. But again, it was kind of like rewarding him for being shit. Like, don't worry, he'll spend the rest of his life fixing his problems. I'm like, what? Like, what? What would you like? What would make him better at this job now? It's like it just was a weird thing. I was like, when I was talking to Michelle, I was like I would have respected if they were like, you know what, Davos, he's a good guy, he knows what's up.
He would be a great hand. Yeah.
I'm saying even King at this point. Like,
he can't pick Sansa because that's too much familial stuff, and she wasn't obviously interested either. But the reason,
yes, I mean they didn't do anything to explicitly show she was interested, but I thought her initial reaction was, "It should be me. Why is it him?"
I think she thought she should be the queen, not the hand. But I mean, like, she'd be a great hand.
Right. I'm talking about who should lead. I'm not even talking about hand at this point.
Yeah.
I'm talking about who should lead because obviously, for my own purposes, I wanted it to be Sansa just because I was like, that seems like whatever.
Yeah, that would make sense. But
there just seems like other people would be a better leader than someone who isn't actually invested in human nature and doesn't seem to be getting more human. Just seems to be, unless it's that selfish thing we were talking about, which seems like a human trait.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So I get the poetry.
That wouldn't be a good reason, though, for him to be the king if he was really selfish and just didn't
this is
care
what
about
this is why I have an issue with it. Not because like, I didn't think of it and now I think that's a bad idea.
No, I know. Yeah,
it's you already put it in my head, so I was already kind of primed to be like, this is probably what's going to happen. But I just felt like they didn't stick the landing of him being an actually good choice.
Oh, for sure.
It didn't actually come from anyone else but the other guy that I don't think makes good decisions.
I guess what's funny is that it seems to me that they picked him because it's like, okay, he knows all of our history, so at least now we won't make the same mistakes we've made before.
Yes.
But the moment he dies, it's just going to turn back. Like, the show began, it ended the way it began because once he dies, they're all just going to fight over who becomes the king anyways. So, like,
it should have been the council idea that you came up with.
Yeah.
That they were just like, yeah, you know what, all seven of us.
Sansa rules the North. Yeah. Yara rules the whatever, Iron Islands. Yeah.
Because, I just...
King's Landing's burned down anyways.
That's my... So, sorry, maybe it's not twofold, it's threefold. Because while I get the poetry of it's Bran and Tyrion are now basically the leaders, with Sansa being able to accomplish what she wanted to accomplish, which is we don't want to bend the knee again.
Yeah. And
sorry, don't continue.
No, okay, just before you continue, I just want to say Sansa going against her bro is a bit weird to me, but I get it. The North wants to be independent.
Well, it's the same problem you just brought up. As soon as he's dead, who's to say people will let the North still be a sovereign thing? But this leads into my point of it. That poetry undercuts and upends the whole poetry of Drogon burning the throne. Because the idea would have been he burnt the throne so that no one else would be like, there can only be one.
Yeah, for sure.
And then they're like, no, there is only one, and it's Bran. And as soon as he's dead, they're going to have the same problem again, instead of doing what we talked about, which is these seven people making decisions overall.
Yeah,
and
I thought it would be like a Bran gives final approval, but like there's going to be like each area.
Yeah, and Bran can always be a resource. He doesn't have to be the king to be that resource that they're looking for him to be.
Yeah.
And also, Bran the Broke is stupid or broken.
I know that just sounds bad. Why would anyone want to follow that?
That's such a stupid insult, especially since they like him. It's not even like it's a nickname he got for being an idiot.
Yeah. My other thing too was Sansa even is setting the table for future conflict because she's like, well, the North wants to be independent. It's always been independent except for when the Targaryens were in charge. But somehow, for some reason, Yara, the Iron Islands have also always been independent. Like, she didn't say anything. Dorne's been independent classically. Those two people were just like, yeah, okay, we're okay with this. Like, to me, that just doesn't make any sense.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're making me like the episode less now. But like, but yeah, I think
so. Eventually, Dorne will not be down with this.
So I guess this only works as long as these people are alive. And I even think as soon as one of them's dead, it's a problem.
Yeah,
doesn't even have to be Bran.
True. Yeah,
like if someone else from Dorne is like, "Fuck that, I don't want to do that anymore," there's going to be a problem.
Yeah,
but I guess someone on New Rockstars, they said basically they're primed for a civil war. Yeah, that's basically what's going to happen. It's not as nice as I guess the show would have you believe on first thought. There is all of these issues that I feel like would be better if it was considered like all sovereign states and maybe they come together to like what's best for the continent or whatever. But like a G8 or something like that, but not. I don't know why I said G8 when there's 7, but you know what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
it was just
something
like
like
it was
that,
just weird that they were like, no, there's still just one person in charge. That didn't work for me, and especially with who it was that was in charge. I was like, he doesn't. Yes, he says the "Why do you think I came here?" line, which I find, and I don't mean problematic in like a sexual assault way. Like it causes more pause for me than it does, making me be like, oh, okay, so he wanted this all along. It makes me just like, so, like, if you knew all of this, why didn't you do anything at any point, or why didn't they show you doing something at one point?
Yeah,
nothing was confirmed
sure.
that he helped out in any way.
Yeah,
When he's like, I gotta go now, you're like, they'll explain that later. They never explained that. It just he worked somewhere,
some ravens or whatever, right?
right? And then
That
the
was
last
so
thing he
dumb.
does is say, I'm going to go look for the dragon. And you're
Yeah.
like, you don't have to worry about that dragon. I get the sense that that dragon knows exactly what he's doing, and it has nothing to do with, like, coming back for revenge.
Yeah, yeah.
It's that didn't sit well for me. And as I said, I've had issues with Tyrion this whole time. I'm not saying he should have died. Like, I have no problem with that. But again, he can be a resource without having that much trouble. I mean, power.
Yeah.
That seems like a bit too much power for someone who has proven to almost everyone that was on that council that he doesn't make the best decisions.
Well, I guess. I mean, based
Like, I
on
feel like
the show's
especially
logic,
Sansa was like, man, I used to think you were smart. And like, I get that they kind of made peace, but when she said I used to think you were smart, that was an astute observation. Like,
Yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
like,
She was bang on.
no, like you're wrong about this. How do you not get that?
Yeah,
And so all I can say is maybe because now he doesn't have the issue of trying to be loyal to his family, he'll be better. But like, if this were real life, like, would you be like, yeah, you know what? Pick any
that guy.
politician.
Yeah.
You know, they were shit and they did a lot of terrible decisions. But now that they're grieving because their families are dead, like, they'll probably be better now.
yeah. No, I just think by show logic only, Bran picked him because he knows that he'll be good or whatever.
Because
He knows
everything.
Yeah.
Again, maybe it could have been better because him
But
saying
Bran
he'll
should have
spend the
just
rest
talked
of his
more.
life, he'll spend the rest of his life like fixing
Yeah,
his
like
mistakes.
fixing
I'm
those
like,
mistakes.
I guess I'll take your word for it. As you said, that's the show logic, but it's
Yeah.
like, that would make me more angry than like hopeful if I heard that on the council. I'd be like, no, why? Like, why? Pick someone who hasn't made mistakes. And the fact that it made it seem like it was a lifelong commitment, that he wasn't like up for like it just made
Well,
it seem
always-
like at no point would you be like, hey man, this guy keeps fucking up.
Well, Ned Stark got fired as the Hand, so it's never permanent.
Well, I guess you
it's
could
up to
get
the king.
killed.
Yeah.
I guess you could just get killed if you kept
No,
messing
he got
with him.
fired before he got
No, I'm
killed,
saying
but
the line "he'll spend the rest of his life trying to fix his mistakes"
Oh, yeah.
means he could just die before like
Before
he
he
could be
gets-
killed before he dies of natural causes.
yeah.
All right, still don't like it, but noted.
Bran the Broken.
What a dumb name. So yeah, that's that. We've gotten to my issue is it's a weird message to send about. Again, sure, Bran says, "Why did you think?" But that's one line versus like a whole season of him
Yeah.
making a point of being
2
like, "I'm
seasons
not
of
Bran anymore."
Yeah. It's happened way too much
And
for that. so.
Tyrion not making good decisions and then being like, "Yeah, but how can you pass on following through on that one line from that season where he said it?"
Yeah.
It just seemed like they could have built to it in a better way.
No, I'm okay with that.
Because
You're right, they just haven't set up his character well at all. Like we've been
Yeah.
kind of complaining about it for a while, and
the idea that basically this won't last.
the other thing people I was watching with, they're like, "Well, why wasn't Jon Snow the king?" And I was just like, "Yeah, man, it's not
No, thank
Cinderella,
you.
bro."
No, thank
It's-
you. He is a bad king, and he actively doesn't. I mean, more than Bran doesn't want it. And if you're going by the show logic, he doesn't know anything, whereas
Yeah.
Bran knows everything. So
Yeah, John makes bad move after bad move, except for killing Daenerys. He had to do that. But
yeah, that was him doing the right thing. Not for me, but in general, yes.
Yeah.
It's right there. I still was like, what an insult that's how he killed her. But anyway, I'm at peace that he killed her. That made sense for the show's timing and pacing.
Yeah.
So that happens. And John, like
They
Grey
send
Worm
John.
again was like, no, like John's got to die. Like
Yeah.
this can't stand. And they're like, don't worry about it. He'll be in the Night's Watch. Winky, winky, winky. Don't worry about it, bro. You'll go away. It'll be real bad for
Yeah,
you.
you don't even like it here anyway.
Yeah.
Just go back.
You'll be real sad hanging out with your friend Torment
Yeah.
with a bunch of people
And
who
his
love
dog.
you. Yeah, you got to pet him. Do you? No,
For
they
like a
wouldn't have.
second.
Yeah, but they did it, and
But
they
they did
smiled
do
at
it.
each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw this guy. What's his name? This is embarrassing. Peter Rosenberg. Is it Peter Rosenberg? He's from Hot 97. He's on Ebro in the morning. He was like, if you didn't cry at that scene, then you clearly don't have a pet, and you don't know how real it is. And I was like, I didn't cry.
cry at
I
that
was
point.
happy that it happened,
yeah, it's
but
like, there's Ghost.
yeah, it
Great.
was like, oh, that's nice. I'm glad they acknowledged each other.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like, oh my god, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Do you think
good.
they added that in
Yes,
after?
but I mean, I don't think that they could actually have time to do that unless it was like. Again, I'm getting this joke from New Rockstars. I didn't come up with this on my own, but they made the joke that the only way that could have been possible is if that scene was John petting like Hot Pie and they just CGI'd Hot Pie out and put in Ghost. Because I think that would take a bit too much to like quickly fix that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think that was just always going to be a thing.
Maybe. Yeah.
I think that's how this season worked. There was a bunch of things people would complain about, and then they kind of make up for it later.
I'll tell you my overall thoughts at the end. But I just think another scene I really liked was the way they showed all the Starks
Doing their thing.
And man, these fucking Northerners just love pulling their swords out and yelling,
Queen of the
Queen of
North!
the North! Queen of the North! Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy for Sansa.
They're obsessed with it.
But again, another argument for Sansa. She actually demonstrated that she could keep shit together, like with limited resources. Like she was holding everything together in the North before Jon got there with Daenerys. Like,
True.
and people seemed pretty happy with it. And I think even before Jon got there the first time, people were kind of like, "Yeah, she's doing a good job." But then he came back, and they're like, oh, "Okay, well, I guess he's the king."
Yeah, that's absolutely right. It's just that, why would Dorne, like these other? I mean, why did they accept anything? Is a question in itself.
You know what? I guess this
But
worked
why
out
would
the
they
best
accept-
for me.
They wouldn't expect.
It makes sense that only Sansa would only be in control of the North. It seemed like that's all she cared about anyway. So I'll take it as the win that it is.
Yeah. So
Um,
and Arya goes. She's the first person to sail west, or you
Yes.
know, I want that spinoff.
I think today specifically said that won't be a spinoff.
Yeah,
People were like, that could be the spinoff. They're like, no. I would watch that as well.
Of course, that would be great. I want these characters. I like these ones.
People did bring up that it was weird that she never used her many-faced god
Right.
stuff again.
But she used that trick already. And does her story really need to conclude with her killing everybody, or her being like, "This was my dream from being a child"? Like
To go
finding
travel.
out, yeah.
No, I never have a problem with Arya stuff.
Yeah.
So the fact that she didn't kill her, even though I wanted her to, the fact that she didn't kill Daenerys, I was like, that makes sense the way this episode is structured and this season.
Yeah.
There's not enough time to like build up to a satisfying Arya kill of that without it just seeming like, well, we did it before. We'll do it
that
again.
was the same as
So
the other kill.
I understood, and yeah, I got the sense that especially in that, like when she was with the mom and the kid in episode 5, that was her kind of being like, yeah, you know what, like maybe killing things isn't the best. Like,
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Like maybe I should be looking to do more than just get revenge and kill people.
And the Hound
And so
was
that
he's
makes
like,
sense.
if you just keep doing this, you're gonna die. Like, don't stop.
So her stuff made sense to me. I wasn't like, oh, how come she didn't use it again? I kind of even forgot she did it. But that's not really a compliment either. But I'm just saying, like, I was just like, yeah, I don't care.
Good for her. Yeah.
I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that happened with Sansa. And so, is this thing with Jon? Is that just that he's the king beyond the wall, or that he just went to take the wildlings out and he has to go back?
That's a good question. I
I never questioned it. I just assumed he was leaving with them. But
It looks like
people,
he is leaving with them.
every time I say people, I mean New Rockstars pointed out that Knight Commander. What is that title called?
Like the commander of the Night's Watch?
Yeah, that's the one.
Lord Commander?
Yeah, Lord Commander does that from time to time. It does, like, you don't have to stay there. You can go out and take
They
your and
do
come
like
back.
ranging stuff
Yeah.
or whatever.
So I was like, oh, so maybe he is stuck there. But
They
I don't
would follow him if he's
I
dead.
just think they're going into the woods. I don't think he's coming back.
I'd be okay with that.
There is a point to the Night's Watch, but also like
But
who's
there's
gonna
no more White
who's gonna
Walkers.
hold them to it?
And well, the thing is, there's no more White Walkers, and also the Wildlings are now on board with Jon and the North. So why do you really need a Night's Watch?
I guess the
Except
idea is
to
you
put the
never know what
criminals.
you never know what the new threat will be.
Right.
But yeah, to me, I was like, yeah, like no one. If he is the top of the chain, like no one's gonna like force him to stay there. Like he can just leave.
Oh, for sure.
The only issue would be if like the Unsullied find him.
But the Unsullied, did you see where they're
Yeah, to
Nar?
Missandei's place.
Because she said that they're turning everyone to slaves there, and like it's like, so I like the Unsullied going to be like, let's travel the globe and
we'll
free
keep doing
slaves and
what
stuff.
she did, but except for we won't commit genocide.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They might though.
I think they were angry,
Yeah,
but I feel like they'd get over that. I don't think you can sustain doing genocide.
that's pretty extreme. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I'm sure people can. I don't think those characters would sustain that.
Yeah,
I think they'd be like, well, okay, I mean, who knows what happened in between? I think they kind of got their bloodlust out when they slit the throats. Otherwise, they would have just killed Jon Snow. They wouldn't have taken him prisoner. They wouldn't have like adhered to like all that nonsense.
yeah,
Other than, I guess, Sansa had the place surrounded.
yeah. That's another thing too. Yeah,
But
And
if
they're
I
bringing
were
it to another
Grey
world.
Worm, if I really had that bloodlust, I would still just kill him
That's true.
and
Yeah.
be like, I don't care, kill me. I'm getting revenge now.
Yeah.
I feel like that the idea is that like they were upset, but they're not like Daenerys. Like they had their moment, and now they're back to like doing not the worst thing, maybe not the right thing, but not the worst thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice. Okay, Brienne, she becomes
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, she's captain of the Kingsguard.
yeah. I saw
guess?
people upset that she
or commander or whatever.
yeah, people are upset that she said something nice about Jaime, but I think that's.
She respects him. Yeah.
I mean, even if she doesn't respect him, I think that's part of her arc is that if you were mad that she cried over him and was all of that, this is her showing she's back to being like, well, no, like, this is my job. Like, I have to finish this story and I will take the high road here.
Yeah.
And
like she
not-
remembers how important that was to him.
Yeah, like, I'm not gonna shit on him here. I'm gonna just do what I have to do and keep moving on. Like, I'm over it.
Yeah.
That I actually saw that as her being like over it. Like, yeah, whatever. He died protecting his queen.
Yeah.
I mean,
like that. Yeah.
that also kind of erases the Kingslayer aspect that he can be remembered for protecting royalty and not killing it.
True. Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It seemed like a no-win situation for them and Brienne, like because that was Last of the Starks, right? That's the one after
Number 4, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, I
no
think
one liked that one.
people are really mad about that.
Yeah.
But I think that to me was like, yeah, she's still human. She's not a fucking robot. Like you're gonna have a point where you're upset about something, and that this is what she's upset about. And then I liked that she seemingly has like moved on from that, and like look at how like high up she is now. She's not.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah, and she also must be the one that named Pod to the Kingsguard.
Yeah,
too.
made him a knight.
Yeah.
Wait, was he not a knight before? No, he was just her squire,
I think,
right?
Yeah, he was about to be like he was.
Yeah.
They talked about it earlier.
So yeah, he rolls Bran around. That's his job.
yeah.
Okay, Braun's back.
Fucking Bronn.
Master
yeah.
of coin.
Yeah,
that's a
not
bad
even-
idea.
That guy's a thief.
He's
He
also
punched Tyrion in the face and tried and like bargained with them for like different things. He's literally a thief that they made Master of Coin.
But I mean, again, if if Bran is going to be king and Tyrion's going to be the hand, I guess the idea is now he can spend the rest of his life being responsible for money.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's stupid.
And why would Tyrion just? You'd be like, no, fuck that guy. Even though he promised him.
No,
but
he loves Bronn.
Yeah,
This is the one time he can show Bronn that I'll do things for you.
yeah.
No, I mean it is money related, but
It is.
it's an opportunity more than it is payment.
He's trying to like put official crown investments into brothels.
Well, someone on Twitter said, "Good for him
Someone
for
has
being
to.
sex positive."
Right there, you are. Yeah.
I found that little Davos got to do a grammar joke. That was good.
Yeah. Was he on the council as well?
Yeah,
I
he's
forget.
like master of ships or some bullshit.
Right. Yeah, of course.
They're all
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah,
Also,
they are.
they were like, we don't have a master of whispers or something.
Yeah, and he
at
just
first
didn't
I was
address
like, yeah, but then the new rock stars pointed out maybe that's the idea is they don't need stuff like that anymore.
Yeah, because Bran
you know,
he knows everything. So why would they need to know like secrets and stuff?
it really seems like they're setting themselves up for failure.
Yeah, oh, of
I
course.
have to say, that's whatever. But yeah, that was a nice, funny moment they had where everyone's sitting at the thing, and the fact that he's like adjusting the chairs and taking it seriously, and he wants it to go well. That's nice.
Yeah,
Tyrion.
he takes
that
it
is.
seriously. That's all right. But
Is that how it ends? Oh yeah, and Sam is George R.R. Martin, and he was like, "It's called this Song of Ice and Fire."
well, he titled it, but he didn't write it.
No, I know the other
Yeah.
guy did.
Yeah,
Jim Broadbent. He
Yeah,
wrote
yeah.
it. That was last season or the season before when he's like it should be something more
can't remember.
poetic.
one or the other. Yeah,
Yeah, this is a dumb name.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear, but when Tyrion said something, he's like, "You're not in it." Like, what?
Oh,
what
yeah.
was that?
So
I get again. Listening to the New Rockstars, they gave me the poetry of why he isn't in it yet. But what is the reasoning for him not being in it yet?
I guess
Is that a slight to him?
Yeah, they just didn't think he was important.
But didn't he like
'Cause he's
save
not
a
a major.
castle at one point? Like he fought back the forces.
Yeah, but technically the Lannisters won that battle, and like their commanders
Right,
were
that's-
like Tywin, and
That's what
Cersei
Tywin
and
did. He
stuff.
took. I forgot about that.
Took King's
Well,
Landing
after
back,
that, he took credit for it and basically made
yeah. So by
Tyrion
the
persona
official
non grata.
records,
Yeah,
it's probably not Tyrion, right?
and I keep saying poetry, but the nice thing about that, I guess, is that his most important contribution hasn't happened yet. So there's still time for him
Yeah,
to be part of that book.
yeah. That's a nice ending for him. But
So,
like, he had a
far
good
too
episode.
nice for him. Far too nice.
Like his acting.
Yeah,
was
I don't
on
know
point,
where I
too.
wanted it to go with him. It just seemed like they wrote him into a hole or into a corner, and then just were like they kind of hand waved that away, and they're just like, nah, but like you understand why this is happening.
Well, where he convinced John, like, okay, so I was asking one of my friends about this. Like, do you think that the episode would have been better had it just ended on John killing Daenerys and the dragon taking
Yes.
her off? Right? Like,
I mean, if they
none of
paced
that
it better, like obviously
Yeah, that
you
would have
can't
had
just
to
end it like, but like
happen at the end. Yeah.
yes,
Her
I
killing
think
some more
all of this
innocents
other
and-
stuff at the end kind of undoes, as I said,
Yeah.
undoes that.
But the one thing is,
mhm.
you wouldn't have seen the scene with the Starks leaving.
Right.
I guess maybe you could have, but like
You
that was
could
a
have
cool scene
if it
with
just ended
Sansa as
with
the
them
queen.
like going off and doing their own things. Like, well, I guess we don't need to worry about this anymore.
Yeah, and just who cares who the king is?
Yeah.
because there's no throne anymore. There's
Yeah,
no king.
and Sansa's the Queen of the North, and
Yeah.
Bran can continue to be a tree.
Yeah, he's just back in the woods again.
Yeah, which is where he should have ended up, and then people just go to consult him.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. So that's the episode.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel. I did not like that Bran was thing, but I'm sure other people feel the way I do. But I didn't see
I
a
think
lot
lots
of
of
that.
people do.
I didn't
Yeah.
see a lot of people vocalize it. I think people were just like, "That's stupid."
Yeah.
Without, maybe they just didn't know how to verbalize what I'm thinking,
The
which
reasons,
is,
yeah.
it's a weird example to set that you can just sit around and then people will like ultimately realize you're the right choice. You don't have to do anything to prove it. People will just be like, I guess you're the right one. That's
Yeah.
weird, and to give Tyrion so many chances is weird. Again, all things that could have been avoided if they didn't consistently make Tyrion look like he makes mistakes and gave Bran anything to do this season other than be like, I'm not Bran. Also, I don't really care about anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. They've built up Bran up, like this whole show. They've built up Bran for something.
Mm-hmm.
This season, they didn't build him up at all, and then all of a sudden, he's the king.
Yes.
I totally get that, and I think like this was going to be my final comment about it, or like not one of the final comments, but like I kind of think because Bran's the king and because Daenerys turned crazy in the show, it's going to happen in the books as well.
Yes.
And so I just think like I have this hope at least that it will be better explained because this guy writes really long books.
Yeah, I think it'll be better. Do you think Jon will stay dead in the books?
No.
Oh, you think he has to be alive to like kill her?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll do some stuff. Yeah.
Or maybe he'll make it Arya.
Ooh.
Huh? Mm-hmm. Maybe better?
No. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
I don't know.
I don't know if you could get better than that. That was really well done, I thought.
It didn't work for me, but I also wouldn't have it a different way. I liked things around it, but it really chapped my ass that that's how he did it.
Yeah.
I would have almost rather he just sneaks up on her and kills her. The fact that he lured her in again with "I love you, you're always going to be my queen," and then stabbed her in the heart, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you adding injury to insult
Oh, he didn't
for?
say "I love you." He said, "You're my queen."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, you're always my queen.
Yeah.
Which I guess I, like she did, read into what he was saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just felt like come on.
Come on, man.
Don't do that. Just kill her. You gotta kill her.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the dragon would have flown up if she'd sensed danger. Like maybe he could sense danger, but
Okay, fine. Sure.
yeah, another
He's
thing
gotta
I wanted
trick
to
her.
see, like maybe this is happening, but I don't want to. I want to see some dragon eggs. Like maybe that dragon goes off and then it lays some eggs, and then just more dragons in the future.
Do dragons have a sex? I mean, who else is
I don't
laying
know,
the
but
eggs?
I don't think
guess.
so. Yeah,
But,
I don't know if that's been explained or not, but I don't think so.
Because I don't even really remember how she got those eggs.
Yeah, so they just gave them to her.
Yeah, but like a dragon didn't lay them. It was. I mean, I don't know.
No, I guess a dragon did lay
Must
them,
have.
but then
Yeah, they're just like, hey, we saved some
they needed
eggs for
her
you.
magic
Yeah.
to kind of hatch
Go
them.
into the fire with them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Imprint on them.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I have to say. It was, it wasn't the worst. I feel like everyone. I will say this. I don't think it's nice to be like, hey, let's sign a petition to get people to redo this.
Yeah, and you know what?
If you don't like the writers for personal reasons, that's whatever. But like thousands of people, I bet, or maybe just 1,000
Probably.
people work on this who aren't the writers. And it's insulting to be like, yeah, let's just do this over again. This was trash. Like, people probably like put a lot of effort into that. You know, that doesn't just happen by accident. Those how many ever hours we just saw.
Yeah, and all these, to me, it's partly just like with every series finale, there's so many people that are unhappy after every big show ends. Like The Sopranos, lots of people hated
To
that ending.
to be fair, though, that was more like what happened.
Yeah, what
That
are they
wasn't like
doing?
a season long like fuck
No,
this shit.
No, it was still great. in that season. Yeah.
I know people who had an issue with Breaking Bad, even though I thought they stuck the
Yeah,
landing
he
on
was
Breaking
gonna
Bad.
die. Oh,
No,
sorry,
no.
I
Just,
just spoiled it.
they, but they didn't like the actual science of how he died. They thought that wouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Again, without spoiling that.
Mad Men people complained as well.
Oh yeah, I liked it, but yeah,
I thought
get
it was pretty good too.
How I Met Your Mother. What a doo-doo ending.
Yeah, well, Lost the whole.
Yes,
That's a season-long
people are saying
thing.
this is worse than Lost. I didn't watch
I
Lost, but
don't
that
think
can't
so.
be the case.
No,
that just can't be the case. Yeah, there's other ones that did poorly, but I just because we're talking about Game of Thrones, I feel like it's like I saw a meme that was like, why don't we hold our politicians to the same standards we hold Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
I agree.
Signing a petition
Give
to
them a
like
break.
yeah, or just don't watch anymore.
Yeah.
Like, because these petitions came out before the last episode. That's why I'm
they
saying
were
that. Like,
a thing last
just
couple weeks, right?
Just stop if you don't like it.
Agreed.
No one's
Yeah.
forcing you. Why would there's so many things to do in the world? Why would you spend time watching something you actively don't like?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I have to say. We did it.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
This is probably going to be an hour, one of the longer ones.
All right.
I was trying to keep it under an hour, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't
Too late.
contain it.
Whoa,
anyway,
baby.
Thank you for listening. Please go to thatshelf.com for other great podcasts like Bad Gay Movies, Black Hole Films, which the last episode they did all of Game of Thrones. He hadn't watched an episode up until this year, I think.
Oh, wow. Binged the whole thing?
Binged, I mean, over a couple weeks. It wasn't like
that's
but like
intense.
he did. That was crazy. So
Yeah.
please go listen
Films.
to Black Hole Films. It's a great episode. Highly Logical. We talked about that Star Trek podcast and No Budget Nightmares. What a great theme
All right.
song! All right, please go there, do that, and then. If you want to listen to other episodes of Spoiled Rotten Game of Thrones edition, please go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten-GOT. You will find my social media coordinates, Aiden's social media coordinates, and more importantly, you'll be able to subscribe and rate. Please rate on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and Radio Public. There's a bunch of other options, but we're there. We would love to get your feedback, but also your ratings because that helps. Do you have anything to say, Aiden?
Other than keep up the good work.
Let's hope that HBO keeps up the good work and makes that prequel come out next season so we can talk about it.
That'd be great.
Or maybe Westworld.
Yeah, one or the
That's
other.
next year. That's come on. Something sooner, please. All right.
Come on.
All right. Goodbye.
See ya.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.